This is Screen Junkies Movie Fights, brought to you by Squarespace. Now your host, Andy Signore.
Hello, Screen Junkies. Welcome to another awesome episode of Movie Fights. I know it's awesome already, even though it hasn't started, just because I know these panelists are going to bring it. Today we have some amazing fights. Who should join the Star Wars franchise? Because Forrest Whitaker was just announced for Rogue One. We're going to put our dream actor in there, or actress. What's the most disappointing summer blockbuster of all time? Most traumatizing kids movie, and so much more fun stuff, so stay tuned. As always, if you don't like something, don't skip. Don't leave. You can go down to the bottom right-hand corner on YouTube and pick your fight, and then you can see any fight we want throughout the show. So please just check it out. Lots of fun topics. We look forward to you staying tuned. Also, always got to remind everybody, we're also on iTunes. If you're listening to us on iTunes, thank you so much. If you're not, what the hell are you doing? Go to iTunes, subscribe, rate, comment, and all that jazz that you do there so we can still perform strongly there. All right, so I want to introduce today's gladiators. This is amazing. We didn't get an intro done for you guys, so I'm going to do it for you in my most epic voice if possible. He got married by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh.
It's fan favorite Nick Mundy.
Hey, gang. How's it going?
Yeah.
You still reeling from that? I imagine you're still getting some amazing plugs and thoughts from that wedding.
Yeah,
right?
it's been nice. Thank you very much for your wonderful wedding planner, Andy.
Aw.
And thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. It's been a while since I've been on here, but thank you, everyone, for the kind words. It's very appreciative.
Yeah.
So.
Did The Rock send you a wedding gift?
It doesn't matter if he sent you a wedding gift.
He's very
Come on,
good.
he's
very
Dwayne.
good.
That's going to be happening in the whole episode.
I'm sorry. Next to Nick, it's a first-time fighter. You've been asking for him. We're so excited to have him. The director of the amazing-looking documentary, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, and host on AMC Movie Talk. It's Jon Schnepp.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Welcome.
I'm so happy to be here. We were scheduling, trying to get this scheduled for a while, and then I was supposed to be fighting John Campea and Tiffany, and they're both mysteriously ill. So though I won by default today,
You beat those scrubs.
I did beat them.
You beat those scrubs.
Just not even do anything. Totally won, and now I'll get annihilated.
So you're 1-0.
Yeah, I've
So
already
to-
won. So I don't
So
know.
that's fair. Not to say, we wish them well and it happens. But these, Nick, and our next competitor, another newcomer, John Rocha. Thank you, man.
Well, it's Rocha.
You do Rocha. Sorry, Rocha.
No worries, no worries.
I'm the worst. But thank you, Mr. Rocha, for being here. I'm excited. You do the top 10 show on Schmoes, correct?
I do the Top 10 show. I host it with fellow stand-up comic Matt Nost. It's on the Schmoes Know podcast network with the Schmoes Know, rather. And it's a blast. It's been fun. We've been doing it for about 2.5 months.
And everyone should know you basically had about an hour to prep.
I really did. An hour to prep, which is about what I do for the show anyway.
Thank you. Thank you very much for stepping in like that. That was
pleasure.
very last minute. We appreciate it. The
Thank
show
you.
must go on, and I'm rooting for you because now he's the underdog, guys.
Total
Nick had a
underdogs.
little bit more time to prep, but
Yeah,
bring
but I
it.
just wasted that
appreciate
time
it.
watching National Treasure.
1 or 2.
Well,
You couldn't tell.
I'm a man. I'm a man, so
On the
one.
Dan Cam, as always, he's coming down from that was a really rough episode last week, but he's still the man in charge. It's Dan Murrell. How you doing, Dan?
I'm all right.
We all lost. We all lost.
Did we?
You and me.
Well,
we both lost, but
we
you had a
didn't
little
all
bit
lose.
more on the. On the
America lost.
Everyone's been nice. It's been. I'm fine. I'm doing all right.
you still have the best record.
I do.
And the movie and the belt wasn't on the line, so you're
Thank
good.
goodness I still have the belt.
Next to you, there's someone very special to me. It's Father's Day today.
All right.
And so what better way to celebrate Father's Day than bring your dad to work, bring your dad to work week, thanks to Made Man. It's my dad, Steve Signore. Thanks for coming, Dad.
Great to be here. I'm hoping to embarrass you.
I hope you do. But no, I really want to thank my dad. My dad was instrumental in my love of movies.
Dad cam.
I tried to get a photo of it, but my whole life I lived up, and I had a video store in my house, and it's thanks to this man right here who got me watching movies every day. So I love you, Dad. I'm excited you're here. It's going to be very fun. And in order to make this even more special, because it's Father's Day and Father knows best, we're throwing a new rule in for today only. So, Dad, right next to you have a bell, yes? Because
Shame.
Father knows best.
Shame.
At any point in today's shame. At any point in today's battle, my dad is allowed to overrule my ruling,
Yes.
and he can change the outcome of this game. So,
Andy, I've been trying to do that for years.
Eliminate
should
with
be
extreme
interesting.
prejudice.
we'll see if he thinks I do a good job or if he thinks I did a bad job. It's on him to make a call, and I look forward to see how it goes down. Dan.
Can we retroactively do this for last week's show, Andy?
I don't know. I would have really lost it really badly.
Andy, it's quite apparent both of our dads are way cooler than us.
Well, what's that? Hey, Dad, what did you think of the Jurassic World fight between me and Dan? Who did a good job there?
Well, I think that you both did a really good job, although I think that Dan's arguments were way off the line because it clearly was a fun movie, is a fun movie, kind of like Independence Day, which was not a great movie but a fun movie.
Oh yeah,
I disagree, Steve. Independence Day is America, and
Hello.
that Bill Pullman speech isn't just fun.
It was a single man representing America.
No, it's that Bill Pullman speech is the third greatest American speech ever.
Yeah. It is. All right. Well, thanks for having my back. Dan still did a very amazing fight, and I think we all need to. His speech on making the blockbuster better, I think we all need to follow. But that movie was pretty fun. You're being too harsh. All right. I said it again.
My mom agrees with me, but
As she should. All right. Real quick rule reminder, as you all know, it's about the argument. Dad, it's about the argument. It's not about which movie we like the best. So bring your best arguments. And now I think I've explained everything. Before we get started, though, I would like to thank our sponsors at Squarespace. Squarespace, we love Squarespace. If we want to build a website that looks professional, designed with no coding experience required, look no further than Squarespace. Squarespace is trusted by millions of people, including the folks behind some of our favorite shows like Game of Thrones, Silicon Valley. All their awesome websites are made through Squarespace. Don't end up like the people who made the Space Jam website. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Look it up. It's still from 1996. If you look up the Space Jam website, it's weirdly fun but terrible. Look it up. But anyway, build a site that'll stand the test of time using Squarespace. And then for our viewers, you can click the annotation or go to squarespace.com/moviefights and save 10% off a new subscription using the code MovieFights.
Nice.
So use the code MovieFights. And if you're still not convinced, you can also try Squarespace for free, no credit card. Squarespace, build it beautiful. Thank you, Squarespace. We are very grateful for your support. So please go check them out. All right, it's time to do this. Let's fight.
Now let's do this. This is where we fight.
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 Round one.
Real quick, that's still the weirdest PSA I've ever heard. Don't be like Space Jam. The more you know. Andy Signore.
Have you check out the website?
I know. I'm just like, it's a weird PSA.
Someone keeps.
It's a weird flag. It's a weird flag.
They have like a Hotmail account.
All right, round one.
Space Jam at
They do, I think they do.
AOL.gov.uk.
GeoCities
Yeah,
page.
Earthlink.
Some Star Wars
Prodigy.
casting news dropped this week. Forrest Whitaker has joined the Rogue One, which I think is pretty fun. I like him. We all like him,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
He's a wonderful actor. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in that movie. Piquing my interest. So Yang at Blah Blah Blue, Blah Blah Boo on Twitter asked us, what actor do you want to see join the Star Wars franchise? Also, please tell us a little bit about the character they'd be playing. So that's the question one. And we're starting with you, Nick.
All right. Well, this isn't going to be hard for viewers of the show. He married me. The Rock needs to join the Star Wars universe as Gif Calrissian, Landau's long-lost son.
GIF?
GIF.
GIF.
Like the graphic?
No, like GIF.
No.
Like GIF.
Yeah.
Like GIF.
J-I-F.
Yeah.
J or G?
G.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, GIF. Like, it's a good name. It's a strong name. And see, GIF isn't a Jedi or a Sith or a bounty hunter or a droid or any of that silly crap. He's just a man in a galaxy far, far away, and he's a pissed-off man. See, Alderaan wasn't the first planet blown up by the Death Star.
True.
Yeah, when GIF was 10 and an orphan, and, because Landau was doing Landau stuff up in Bespin, GIF was trying to survive on a planet, and he was on the planet that the Death Star blew up as a practice round. GIF was able to escape, and then since then, he's dedicating his life to get revenge on the Empire, the Jedi who didn't do anything, Landau's friends, and even that Bib Fortuna guy, or any of the Star Wars weirdos, and he's going to unleash holy hell on the Star Wars universe. And this is the first time we'll get to see a regular guy's POV, not some magic dude, not some Sith Lord, in Star Wars. Albeit a regular guy who's badass strong. And the thing about GIF is, he doesn't need lightsabers. He's got fists. He doesn't need blasters. He's got fists. He doesn't need Death Stars and Millennium Falcons. He's got fists. And Daddy, it's fist season. And the other
tagline?
Yeah. And the other thing, and the most important thing is, these Star Wars movies, we hope they're going to be good, but they might not be. The prequels were garbage. They could be garbage. But the best way to ensure that a bad movie's good, and a good movie's great, and a great movie's Die Hard, is put The Rock in it.
All right, Mr. Schnepp. Let's follow up with that. That's going to be tough.
All right. Well, I was going to say GIF doesn't have enough midi-chlorians for this one. GIF's
going to fist you in the face.
It's Lance Henriksen as a Sith Lord.
Whoa.
And I was going to say why I would pick Lance Henriksen is he's an incredible actor. And he carries with him such a gravity to him just because not only just all the roles that he's played from, I could go from like Catherine Bigelow's Near Dark where he played not a called a vampire, but one of the most amazing vampire leaders that I've seen and frightening. He also played good guys like Bishop in Terminator 2, but always had this kind of
you don't Alien.
know. I'm sorry, thank you. In Aliens.
Shame.
But he always had he always had you know, he has like you don't know whether he's a good guy or bad guy. Even with this TV series Millennium, like he played a character Frank Black.
Good show.
You always had this like this dark underside to him, so I could definitely see him playing a Sith Lord. Just his voice alone, just like Andy Serkis, you could hear right away. Not only would you know that it's Lance Henriksen, but you would also sense the evil within him. So that's why I would say Lance Henriksen as a Sith Lord.
Mr. Rocha.
GIF, give me the midichlorians. Here's what I'll say. I will say, for me, it's Michael Fassbender as Kanan. The last Padawan guy from the Star Wars Rebels. If they do any of the anthology films and harken back to Rebels, he's relatively around the same age, and Fassbender is one of the baddest people walking the planet today. So to be able to play a Jedi that has been hiding out as a Jedi for a long time because of Order 66, and then come out and be able to embrace being a full-on Jedi, be able to have those amazing fights, plus with the new technology and the new fight choreography that you got going on nowadays, it'd be even more amazing when you put it in his hands. I don't know. The Rock would just be weird. Like, it would just be weird to have a guy on steroids walking through the... No, I'm just saying possibly on steroids. And there's no Star Wars weirdos. There's no Star Wars weirdos. Every character is there for a reason. Lance Henriksen, he's a little old. So I'm just saying Fassbender is virile, young, badass, and it's perfect to play a character like Kanan and carry us into what will obviously be amazing Star Wars movies directed by J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson.
Hopefully.
I like the knock on those. But can you just tell me more about Kanan? Those who are not familiar with Rebels.
Okay, if you're not familiar with Rebels, Kanan is kind of like the leader of this group of people on a ship. There's a bunch of people on the ship, and what it is, he's training this young Padawan, and in kind of quietly training him to be in the ways of the Jedi. And they get in through the whole.
He's an Obi-Wan-ish.
Yeah, kind of Obi-Wan-ish, but he's more. He's not like. How would I say this? He's still kind of in training himself, which is what makes interesting drama within the show. If you haven't seen it, it's on Disney XD. It's about to start the second season.
He's Freddie Prinze Jr.
Well, he's voiced by
Freddie Prinze Jr.
It's a big difference.
You want Fassbender to play second banana Freddie Prinze Jr.
Don't make me bring up Scorpion King. I'm not going to bring up Scorpion King.
I'll bring up Scorpion King. Scorpion King married me.
No. San Andreas married you.
All of them did.
So he's more progressed as an actor, more interesting to watch now than he was at the beginning when he was basically doing the rock shtick in his movies. I love The Rock. But I just think Fassbender is a better actor, better situation. Anyway, they go on these, they're constantly fighting the Empire. It's right before New Hope starts. All this stuff takes place before New Hope starts. So you're getting the idea of what the Empire and the Rebels are up against with each other. And he takes them on these numerous journeys every episode, trying to infiltrate and destroy the Empire any way possible.
What do you guys think?
Here's the thing. These are all fine casting things, but it's Grand Moff Tarkin and another Jedi. I mean, I've seen these characters before.
Oh
I've seen great actors or bad actors play Sith Lords and Jedis. I want something new. I want a different element of the Star Wars universe that we haven't seen.
What's The Rock going to do that's new that he isn't going to do in every other film?
Be awesome.
I'll say this about Lance Henriksen might be old, but they just cast Max von Sydow in the brand new Star Wars movie.
And he might be Kanan.
He's much older than Lance Henriksen, and look,
yeah, but he's running a shop.
Forrest Whitaker was in Battlefield Earth. Like the last thing I remember him in a sci-fi movie was Leverage, Breathe Mask. So look, like anything is a step up in my mind.
Wait a minute.
I love Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai. I mean,
hey, look,
you don't get badass than that.
Do you think Fassbender? So you're saying Fassbender and Rock on a step up?
I think Fassbender is a good choice. I think The Rock is a good choice. I think my choice is way better because Lance Henriksen is also a true genre king, just like Christopher Lee, who was also in Star Wars. So I think when they get,
but in the prequels.
it doesn't matter. Prequels, sequels. You could say which one you like the best. I'll say which ones I like the best. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's Star Wars. Like you're talking about Kanan, who's not even a character yet. He's an action figure.
He's in the canon.
I know, but he hasn't been in a movie yet. So
Not yet,
technically, he's like he's just a brand new toy. So once he becomes flesh and blood,
Did you say brand new toy?
Yes, technically.
Did you say brand new
I
toy?
did,
By
actually.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
You know.
I think the problem is.
Listen, you're saying something. Freddie Prinze Jr. wrote for the WWE
I
for
know.
a year.
I know.
So like he knows
I'd
what
rather
he
see.
did.
Freddie Prinze Jr. did?
Yeah.
I'd rather see Freddie Prinze Jr. than Michael Fassbender in this role.
He gave The Rock most of his lines. So really, what are we
know.
talking
Prinze
about?
Jr. was
Wow,
also in
that's
Wing Commander.
Oh, is that true, Dan?
No, he
I am
didn't.
checking
No,
on
Freddie
that
Prinze
right
Jr.
now.
was in 08. The Rock wasn't in WWE.
All right.
Here's the thing. These are fine acting choices. I think the character, though, it's just not as interesting.
But you're creating a character.
Exactly. It's a new character. It's something that I haven't seen in the Star Wars
Right,
universe
right.
that
All
I
right.
would like to see.
So that's a good closing for you, Nick.
Okay.
It's something new. Tell me why, again, a little last piece, why yours is better than the other two and why I should pick yours.
You should pick mine because I'm not disagreeing with Lance or Fassbender. I mean, with Michael Fassbender or The Rock. But what I am saying is Lance Henriksen is definitely a genre king. He's been in sci-fi films. He's been horror films. And he's got a legacy. And he also is an incredible actor. So for him to play a Sith Lord just makes sense.
John?
Fassbender's been Magneto. Every time he shows up on screen, he's amazing, magnetic. He's about to play Macbeth. If you haven't seen that trailer, see it. That's a powerful actor. And whatever you put him in, he's going to elevate your film. And that's what he does. The Rock is great. I love The Rock. He's great, but he knows his niche. And his niche is not to elevate a film. His niche is to carry the film at a certain level, pseudo B films. But Fassbender is an A-list actor, A-list films, and he is badass, and people love him, women and men. So you're gonna the character he's going to create with Kanan, it's gonna be fleshed out.
I will let
beautiful.
you respond, Nick.
What movie franchise has The Rock not elevated? That's what he does. His job is to take existing franchises and make them great.
The Tooth Fairy?
Elevate C to B doesn't.
Hey, you know what? The Tooth Fairy is still like the best kids movie I've seen in 10
I'm
years.
just saying, he's been in a few stinkers.
Sure.
But he's been in amazing films, too, like Faster. I mean, there's
Yeah,
so many
no,
films.
he's-
He's a great actor, I think.
Snitch.
Look,
He's
I'm
good in
not
Snitch.
taking anything away from Fassbender,
Right.
but what The Rock does is elevate franchises. He brings people to them, and that's what
All
he
right.
does.
All right. Dan, any notes before I make my ruling
Couple
here?
quick notes. Yes, Freddie Prinze Jr. did work for WWE. He wrote for SmackDown, and he came back in 2010 for a couple years, which may have coincided
No.
with some of the Rock's.
Yeah.
The Rock wouldn't do SmackDown.
Okay, fine.
No, but he did both. He wrote for both.
And as flattered as the character actor is, I'm sure it's Lando.
What else?
Yeah, not Martin Landau.
Landau. And
Not going to discredit you for that.
and Nick, you said that Alderaan was not the first planet destroyed by the Death Star. Yeah, it was. It was the first planet destroyed by
Not
the Death
in what I wrote.
Star. Well, according to history and yeah.
All right, I'm going to make a ruling, and I think here's where I stand, and my dad may be able to overrule me if he disagrees. They're all good actors. I think you guys are being harsh on Dwayne. He is a good actor. He's established himself. So to me, the problem is I heard good actors from all three of you. The one thing I heard from Nick was something new, was bringing it to a new place, which I think that's a valid thing. Your genre king was close, but there's a lot of those, and some of them already in the franchise. For that reason alone, I'm going to give Nick the points.
Daddy, it's fisting season. Damn.
Now, Dad, it comes back to you. Do you agree or disagree with my decision?
I hate to say this, Andy, but I have to agree, and this is why. I think that Lance Henriksen might be a great actor, and he might have a great voice. There was no character development. He's going to be a Sith Lord, so big whoop.
Yeah.
As far as Michael Fassbender, again, A-list actor, but what's he going to be really? And
Yes.
Wow.
I like the fresh approach of Landau's son.
There, we had
Lando's
agreement.
son. Yep.
Love
I
it. Thanks, Dad.
have to give that one to you.
Fists are the new lightsabers.
I know he was looking forward to killing me every round.
Might be the last one I'm giving you. But
I say we call The Rock Landau from
Landau
now
from
on.
now on.
Can I also say this stupid Indominus Rex fell off the shelf and hit me in the head during that round? Another reason for me to hate Jurassic World.
I love that happened. Sorry, it's not fun. It's never
That-
ends.
that-
All right, round
that totally
two.
better effects than the.
All right, Pixar's latest movie, Inside Out, opened this weekend. Pixar makes great kids' movies, but they can also be a little sad and emotional. Yeah. And this one really delves into the mind. When I haven't been able to see it, Dan, I think you saw it. I've heard amazing things about this movie.
It's It's great. It's one of their best ones.
I'm excited to see it. So, but in honor of sort of the inside the mind, we're going with number 2, our fight. What's the most traumatizing kids movie? Now, this needs to be a movie aimed at kids, PG, and that was sort of the rule that we set. And so I will start this time with you, Mr. Schnepp.
Well, I picked Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original one, which Gene Wilder was Willy Wonka, and he performed and played a truly crazed genius who was making chocolate for children, but also like he had this really dark side to him. And I always remember as a kid when everything's over and little kid comes in and walks through that back door and everything, like he's in this insane room that everything is cut in half and he's like scribbling down on a pen and he's like, "What do you want?" He's like yelling at this kid. It frightened me more so than even the Oompa Loompas and all the bizarre, weird, like kind of torture candy, strange paradise, a little kid getting chucked into the tubes of chocolate and the girl becoming a giant grape and rolled away by these bizarre orange creatures. The whole movie is one phantasmagorical nightmare, especially if you're a kid, and it can really totally traumatize you. And I grew up loving Young Frankenstein and all the other Gene Wilder films, but this one still holds the truest to me. I love the film as an adult, but as a kid, it frightened me.
There's a lot of weird stuff in that movie. I agree. Mr. Rocha.
It's funny you bring up the Pixar thing. We just finished doing our episode of top 10 Pixar films on the Top 10 show on the
What was
Schmoes
number
Know
1?
Podcast Network.
Go tune in.
Yeah, what number 1? You're not going to tell you. Go tune in. But yes, please come. Mine is the original Transformers animated film because of the death of Optimus Prime. When you're of a certain age and you watch the death of one of your heroes, and I was 10 or 9 when I watched that film, it affected me on so many levels because you're like, wait, heroes can die? Wait, people who are essentially like a pseudo father figure can die? It's conceiving of that for the first time as a child that just traumatized me for so long about seeing films, about even going back to the Transformers franchise, which I had been watching for a while. And so it was just a very difficult thing to go through and then process. And then how do you play with your toys again? Like, how do you play knowing that you're playing with a dead Optimus Prime? I mean, it just traumatized me.
You got the power.
I'm
helping you. I'm helping you. I'm helping you.
Thank you. That's right.
That was an assist.
And you know, it's just a fantastic film. And then for have it to end in that way, it just leaves such a scar on your heart as a child, and you never forget it. You know, you never forget it.
Nick.
My most traumatic movie talked just like this. Roger Rabbit.
Yep.
Oh,
Roger
yeah.
Rabbit.
Yeah.
Specifically because Judge Doom's plan was to kill the cartoons we grew up with.
Yeah.
He was going to massacre and do a genocide on Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny and all the tunes.
Yeah.
He wanted to murder, like everyone talks about, this murdered my childhood. That was Judge Doom's plan. And as an 8-year-old watching, I'm going to watch this cartoon with Roger Rabbit and Mickey Mouse, and then I watch Christopher Lloyd trying to just kill everything.
Right.
That's the most traumatic childhood. Because he actually killed some cartoons.
Right.
We saw a cartoon die and murder. And I know one of the questions is most traumatic, like, greatest movie death. That's second. The Shoe is second to my other answer, but it's still pretty bad for a kid's movie. This is insane. And your movies are... your movie I got, sorry, Steve, like, did some stuff and watched that movie, and it's pretty great. So I didn't see the traumatic
Are
parts.
you alluding to drugs?
Yes, I am alluding to drugs. I'm alluding to drugs. Your movie is just about, like, foul children who got punished in this society that we live in, that children get run amok. I think we need more Willy Wonkas. I know it's Dan's greatest, like, date movie, but I think...
the digs come
No,
fat.
Dan, that was your favorite date movie, Willy Wonka.
You're just sitting
How
here
much
innocently.
abuse do I have to take on this show?
But for the fact checking, that was your date movie selection.
But those
right?
children...
That was where I said you should go on a date.
to
yes.
to the hellscape.
Well,
But those children were just ill-tempered, and those parents were, you know, bad, and they just needed a lesson.
All right, but I'm gonna counter both your. Listen, both of you guys make great choices. Both those films mess me up on different levels when I watch them. However, both those films have the bad guy dying. In my film, the good guy, the main good guy, dies. Right? Roger Rabbit doesn't get killed.
Does Megatron die too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
then
but
it
it's
becomes
Megatron.
Galvatron.
But
And
you don't have
Star-
Roger Rabbit dying,
No,
and you
but
don't
then-
have Willy Wonka dying.
But then Optimus Prime comes
Optimus
back.
Prime, right? But he dies. He does come back. But sure, everything in comics comes back. But like he dies in that film. When you're watching that death, you know, it's there. He's dying for the cause. He's dying for, and whereas Judge, whatever his name is, gets run over. Judge Doom, sorry, gets run over by that
steamroller.
Steamroller, right? He dies,
and then he's
bad
flat.
guy dies,
and then he's a flat man doing this thing,
right?
And that's scarier than all the things you're talking about.
But it's all set in a cart. If you watch Looney Tunes, it's in that kind of vein.
Exactly,
so it doesn't really matter.
No, it
the
does.
coyote falls off the cliff a million freaking times
until he falls into
you get
Dip,
traumatized.
Except when they figure out the God Killer in Dip, where he would kill all your cartoons.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Optimus Prime would never come back if he got put in a bag of dip.
I think.
But Roger Rabbit never dies. If he did, then that would be something.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is written right here as my second choice. Why is it my second choice and Judge Doom is my second choice? Is because Willy Wonka as an entire film is a traumatizing experience. What you're talking about is a few moments of a character that I will not disagree with you when he's like talks just like this and turns into that creature.
That's better than mine.
Is really traumatizing and scared me. As an adult, I saw it and it scared me. And you know, and that he can destroy cartoon characters with this magic, you know, acid dip is traumatizing. He did kill the shoe. He killed a few characters, but Willy Wonka destroys kids' minds.
Yeah.
And the entire film is a traumatizing experience. Sure, they're all spoiled, rotten kids, except for that one kid, Charlie. And he learns the ultimate lesson, though. And Willy Wonka says, you're the truest one, because he actually does care and he is a real person. So I think not only do you go through a traumatic experience, but you also learn something as a kid. It's not just like cartoon stuff. I loved Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But
straight up, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you think Augustus is going to drink from a chocolate river again? I don't think so.
I think yeah, you know what? Everybody learns something in movies.
Do you think Violet's going to eat errant gum that's not hers?
Most
again?
definitely.
I don't think so.
I think she will.
I don't think so.
She's an evil little kid. I think she'll get
Do you think Mike TV might turn on a book?
This is my point.
Do you think Mike TV might read a book one day? I think you will.
But that's my point. Everyone gets their comeuppance in your films. In this, it's the death.
Rodimus Prime's
death.
ascension. That's what that story is.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the
Yes, but
Transformers
what has to
shows
happen?
you that
So-
robots don't die.
Yeah.
Eventually. But still,
So-
he dies.
He comes back.
So does death trump everything else? Is that the most traumatizing moment?
For
is
me.
it, or I guess I'm just trying to figure out based on the question, what's the most traumatizing moment as we do a wrap out and your final points? Go ahead.
If you're a child and you're seeing that, like I said, it matures you without you wanting it to mature. You're not ready to mature at 9 or 10 years old to conceive of adult themes. And when he dies, that is you conceiving of the death of a hero, the death of possibly your father, and that will leave a scar for you for the. It's like introduces this concept into your life at such a young age. Now you're younger than me, so maybe like you see it altered as well. You know, so I don't know how much I can take with what you're saying, but like when I was that age and saw that, it decimated me, and I started to conceive of the death of.
Did the
adults.
other two? For you?
Willy Wonka, not so much because the kids, it's all done in that kind of gisty way. This, a little bit, I was more disturbed by Jessica Rabbit and what was going on in my pants than I was about Judge Doom and getting run over by the steamroller. I'll be honest with you. Jessica's what I remember.
Speaking
not
of,
Judge Doom.
and this is a good point for me, she's not a real representation of a woman.
Oh, here we go.
But we should
Listen to
accept.
you.
But we should accept
What are you doing
who she
right
is.
now?
We should accept who she
Schnepp,
is.
final thought.
My final thought is why the Willy Wonka film should be picked is because it's traumatizing, but not just because of deaths or a screamy scene of a guy. It's the entire film is a magical, traumatizing experience, but you come out of it with feeling good about it. So it's like it'll take you through nightmares, and then you come out feeling better.
So it's traumatizing if you feel better.
Nick, final thoughts.
I was a 7-year-old kid, and I realized Mickey Mouse and Roger Rabbit could die, and they were planning to get killed. And there's still going to be someone could still make dip. The fact that people who get safes fallen on, they figured out the God Killer.
All right. I'm going to make my ruling. Dan, anything you'd like to clean up there?
Just a couple quick things. One, Optimus Prime did come back, but not in the movie.
Thank
He
you.
came back later. And Nick, Transformers came out in 1986, so I'm assuming while you were high, which I'm assuming is what you were referring to, that was sometime post-release, or
Yes.
you got an early start.
Yeah, it was like 2001.
All right. Based on the arguments.
This is my favorite movie fights ever so far.
Based on the arguments, I think I don't actually agree with this decision personally, but I think based on what you said, I think it's got to go to Mr. Rocha here. I think he brought the biggest point of you sort of threw yourself under the bus and you said they're all okay at the end, because I actually think yours is probably a little bit more traumatic, but his argument on the death and learning about it, like, I think was strong, and I wish someone would have come back and said, like, isn't Lion King worse? Or I just think there are even worser deaths. But based on the argument, then you were so hung up on the death, then the boot scene is brutal. but I mean, your hero dying is more brutal
boot-
than
that was-
that.
my boot was my
so
hero.
from the arguments alone, he gets the point. In my eyes, Dad, what do you think?
I'm surprised that no one mentioned Bambi, but
Yeah, that too.
It's off screen.
I have to say that this is a very difficult one because I think you all made really good points. The problem is, I think someone said, and I don't remember who it was, that robots don't die, and robots don't die; they're machines.
I said
And
that.
as far as
He
Roger,
did die.
He's not a
He did
robot.
die.
He's not a robot. He's a sentient being.
He did technically die.
Yeah, with
Okay.
a soul and everything.
Shoes can't die either.
Yeah,
In- in-
Steve's a man.
Cartoon
Okay, let's
characters.
see.
and
Steve's a man
cartoons,
with-
Cartoon characters can't die either.
And cartoon characters can't die either. But in Willy Wonka, a kid really turned into a grape. I mean, that's pretty traumatizing for kids.
I agree with your dad.
So
She learned a lesson.
and she learned Charlie learned a lesson.
They were
and
all
they all
fine.
learned
they
lessons.
were fine.
They were all fine
And-
afterwards.
Well, yeah, but I think they were traumatized into being fine, and I think that's just, I mean.
So what's your rolling?
I love the scar on the heart. I mean, that
But
really.
what- you gotta
that
give
got
me a
to me.
rolling.
Willy Wonka.
Oh man, overruled.
Dang.
Father
That
does
works
know
today.
best.
And I was talking about the death of a dad.
Personally, I agree with it. I just didn't think his argument was as strong.
Steve, you're
But,
a really smart guy. I don't know if I mentioned that
Keep it on
earlier.
the arguments because he didn't talk about the blueberry, but I'm going to give it. I think it is a traumatizing movie.
You need to talk to Dan because he wanted to take a
Schnepp
date
gets
there.
the official points. That's
Andy,
how it's going to work
did
today.
you notice your dad has his own version of your catchphrase?
What does he say?
This is very difficult.
my catchphrase is this is tough. All right, wow. Let's move it on. Round three.
Damn it.
You were close.
I know.
John's very
Don't
good.
blame me,
Look,
blame
these-
my dad.
These guys are great.
Father's Day. Speaking of Father's Day, this weekend, that's why my dad's here. KG at Yes, the KGO, that Joe on Twitter, it's a little long, asked, what character would make the best movie dad? So what movie character would make the best, what movie character would make the best dad? So it's not the best dad, it's which one would you want to have as your dad is the question here. And so with this time, we're starting with you, John.
Okay. My choice is Alfred, the butler in the Batman series. In any version you want to create. Like, Michael Hoff, Michael Caine, and then upcoming Jeremy Irons, even the guy on Gotham. The character, to me, is... He's a dad without being a dad in essence.
Which Alfred are you picking?
I would take the Michael Caine Alfred.
Okay.
Honestly, I like that Michael because you can tell that he was a badass when he was younger, and that is his backstory. But he has a tender touch with Bruce growing up, and then he gets tough on Bruce when he's facing the Joker, when he's facing these a myriad of villains. He is Bruce's sounding board. He keeps Bruce on the straight and narrow when Bruce wants to go dark. He wants to destroy everything in his path. And I think that's what your father's supposed to do. Your father's supposed to be your counsel. Like, I lost my dad in 2008 to cancer. It was a rough loss. And to me, that's the one hole that I have in my life. And when I see Alfred, I see versions of that, because my dad was also a badass. He was a weightlifter in Argentina. He was a fighter, and he came, to this country and everything like that. So to me, Alfred connects to me on so many levels because of that. Because he was still soft and tender and gentle, and as he got older, he has more perspective and wisdom. And I think I don't think you have Batman the way he is without Alfred. And I think that's why he'd be a great dad to raise a child and teach him the good and evil in the world. And yes, sometimes you can give in to your impulses, but think about what that means in the long run. And I think that's what Alfred always does.
Wow, Nick, follow that up, please.
All right, John's very good. I can. Superman. Okay.
Wait, Superman or Clark Kent?
Superman.
Okay.
Which Superman are you picking?
If we have to pick Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
You get at least half his powers.
Yeah.
Probably. Four grandparents on just the dad's side. Jor-El, Lara.
Wait, Charles dead?
No, they're holograms. You still get presents.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, they come in little crystal
No,
packages.
because that's
and
you still get hey, six grandparents, six presents. Okay. By the way, when Superman divorces Margot Kidder, yeah. Mom.
I like Margot
Mom,
Kenner
when,
better.
When Superman and Mom divorce, guess what? You spend weekends in the Fortress of Solitude.
It's cold.
Which is, you're half Superman. It's not cold.
When you're half human, it is cold.
Yeah, it's warm. Also, the answer is the whole idiom of my dad could beat up your dad. That whole question. Well, my dad could beat your dad up.
Sure.
And I don't even know who your dad is, but he could shoot him with laser beams and throw them both in the Phantom Zone.
Sure.
That's my dad, Superman. By the way, you might say, hey, he's busy saving the world. I'm not selfish. I'm not selfish. I'm just, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take that Superman cash that he gets. I'm gonna, like, just like Harrison Ford's kid, open up my own gastropub in Culver City.
Awesome.
And just do Superman's pub, have superpowers, maybe do some, like, CrossFit.
So you wouldn't be a hero.
No, I'd
You'd rent a gastropub.
We're not talking about me.
That's the dad. Your dad would teach you to be a gastropub owner, not a hero.
I would have a
Is that what you're
reality
trying to
show.
say?
I would be a reality show.
Even better. A
We're not
reality
talking
show.
about we're talking about what terrible son of a superhero you would be. We're just talking about the best dad.
Best
dad would be Superman.
Nick Reeves Kardashian.
All right, let's get Schnepp. Let's get you in this fight. What's your pick?
I picked Big Daddy from Kick-Ass. And so the reason I picked Big Daddy is because this is a movie version of a dad. Not a real dad or some wish fulfillment stuff. It's like if I was living in a human horror-filled world of a movie landscape, I would pick Big Daddy because he would be training me in the reality of horror, and I would be able to protect myself. I'd be shot with Kevlar. I'd understand what Kevlar is at a very young age. I would be able to do incredible backflips, use all kinds of weapons, and write justice the way it should be done. Now, I mean, definitely picking Alfred, the Michael Caine Alfred, it's like basically Bruce Wayne was very disrespectful to him throughout most of the movies, and in the third movie just outright kind of dissed him.
Also, he's an employee. Alfred's an employee.
He's not an employee of Bruce. He's an employee of the Waynes.
Yeah, he's still
There's a
paid.
difference.
Like, you don't know when he gets home to his
Are
apartment.
we going to
he's
start
like,
countering?
oh,
If we're going to start countering.
No, we're not counting.
I
wasn't even done yet.
I was going to say, go, John.
I'm just trying to establish a few things.
I'm getting ready.
Superman, Christopher Reeves is an awesome pick, but he's just a little bit too powerful. And I think if my dad had to go against your dad, he would definitely have that kryptonite, and I think my dad would win only because he would be willing to go that place that your dad wouldn't.
Your dad's a parody of an Adam West character.
He's not only a parody of an Adam West character, he's also a parody of the Batman, Adam West. So, which is one of the most fun, crazy, campy, superheroes ever created. And then he's also a parody of the Dark Knight. So he's basically he's a combination of the Christopher Nolan Batman and the Adam West Batman. So you get the best Batman of both worlds. And it's played by one of the craziest, most awesome actors on the planet, Nick Cage. And he brought that Adam West voice only when he was playing Big Daddy. He didn't talk like Adam West when he wasn't. So
you're a little biased. You're a little biased, John.
I think that not biased, I'm just correct. I think the thing about having an incredible actor like Nick Cage play someone, like a lot of people always rip on Nick Cage saying he was in Ghost Rider or this or that, and they forget that he was Big Daddy.
Nicolas Cage doesn't matter in this debate.
Right.
Who's the best dad? Now opening it up to everybody.
Okay. All right. What you're saying here, first of all, no.
What?
Because hero dads are always gone.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So no, you're not going to be fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
Find any child that is look at a therapist, going to any psychiatrist's office. What's the number one complaint? Dad was never around. Dad was working all the time. Dad wasn't there to raise me. He can't be a good dad if he's not around to teach you anything. He's constantly teaching everybody else.
You know what I'll do? I'll go talk to my grandfather, the hologram, and then he'll teach me lessons.
Wait, but that's not in the Christopher Reeve.
I'll go hang out with Marquette.
Can you fly? Can you fly?
No, I can jump high.
All right. Here. Everyone at a time, please.
That's the Russell Crowe Batman.
No.
Because he's not going to teach him how to use the crystal until much later in his life.
You will be different.
So he won't
Sometimes
be around.
You'll be an outcast. You'll never be alone. You will have my strength. You will see my life
but you're
through
talking
your
about.
eyes.
Well, then you should say Jor-El, not Kal-El. Jor-El would probably be a better dad than Kal-El.
I said
because
I'll go hang
Kal-El's
out with my
always around.
grandfather. I'll go hang out with my grandfather.
Yeah, but you're not going to see him till like 15.
Let's be fair.
Teach me about puberty,
speculative,
Crystal.
because he hasn't speculative. We don't know where he'd be. Yes.
Well, Christopher Reeve Batman has the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Are you basing that on any facts?
On the
That's what I'm
movie,
trying to
on
say.
the movie.
Does he leave his kid and go away? Dan, is there any? Just can we? Is he?
What's that?
Is Superman a bad dad and that he leaves his kid all the time? Is there any proof of that?
In Superman Returns, you had the child who was supposedly Superman's, but he did not know that the kid was around.
It's also not.
And
It's
he
not
kind of
Christopher Reeve.
acknowledged-
He also grew fast,
not the
right?
Christopher
Yeah, he
Reeve.
kind of
Kind of
acknowledged
weird.
his existence
Look, this
at the
is
end of the
America.
movie.
There's a lot of the nuclear family doesn't exist anymore. So
Well, Lois
you might-
Lane's is going to be working all the time, so she's not going to be around.
But you have the
I'm
step.
just saying.
No, you have the step there.
And-
Also,
and here's the
Alfred's
thing.
an employee. Alfred's an employee. He could go
He's
back
not
to his
just an
apartment
employee.
and be like, "Oh, Bruce is Batman again."
It's-
I found the job.
some-
Like, oh, I got to pretend to like this guy again. He just wants the benefits. Health insurance is expensive. He's an old guy, and you're not going to complain about your boss. Who doesn't complain about his boss?
Wait a minute, but then the kid could be like, "Hey, Dad, I got some kryptonite." Oh, sorry, I guess I am taking the keys and going out
you
tonight.
know what? Then
You
he
know what?
calls-
Because you can't get up off the ground.
No, you know what?
That's ridiculous. That's what you're going to set it up a dad that can be completely. And don't give me this crap about my dad could beat your dad. Superman would never beat up either of our dads because he's a good man and he would never do any of those things. However, if it came to it, Alfred, who taught Batman, who beat Superman in The Dark Knight Returns, if you remember correctly, would be able to beat Superman if the situation came for it
Frank
because
Miller
he's
doesn't
small.
count.
Oh, no, Frank, wait, you can't do the crap like that.
All right.
I
So
know.
your stance is you're doing great.
Thank you.
He's clearly the best emotionally probably set dad than your two. So
I don't
we have
think
that
you
sort
can
of
count
notch.
an employee.
Why
I can pay Dan to be my dad and look after
are
me.
we
and
discounting?
he'd be a great
but
Alfred.
he's made a good point. He could take that out. I'm just trying to wrap up quickly. Like why not Big Daddy, and why is having the powers and what comes with that better than having maybe an emotionally more their dad? That's what I want to hear from you guys.
Well, I think Superman is he's the representation of the best of humanity. And
He's not human.
Huh? But he's still the best representation of humanity. He's what we should all strive to be a good person. Who doesn't want that for his dad?
Sure.
Who doesn't want, a guy who would sacrifice everything and do everything and spin around a planet to save people to be your dad? He's what every dad should be.
You know who doesn't?
Every dad, every kid thinks their dad is Superman. This guy is actually Superman.
Right.
And then, as far as Nicolas Cage, I mean, he's just a sociopath serial killer.
He's just an actor.
He's just a sociopath. He's just a sociopath.
Let's get back into characters. The reason Big
No,
Daddy,
not Nicolas Cage. The
Big
Big
Daddy.
Daddy is just a sociopath.
The reason Big Daddy is the best choice is because, like, you picked Batman's butler, basically, who did take care of him, made him food and stuff, but he wasn't there to train him, and he really didn't.
But
Bruce Wayne did not really, when he grew up, did not confide in Alfred. Alfred didn't even know for a long time that he was Batman. It's like
He always knew. What are you talking? You got to read the you read the comic books.
Yeah.
You know the
No,
lexicon.
let's
He was a
look at
Secret
your-
Service soldier.
I'm going back into
Special
year one.
Forces.
Coming to you,
I'm
Dan,
going back
just to
into
help
year
them.
one.
Let's
Frank
look
Miller.
at your kids. Alfred raised a vigilante.
He was already
He
going
raised a
down that
vigilante,
path. He
and
steered him
raised-
away
and
from
you
being a
raised-
villain.
Your dad raised a serial killer.
Your dad's never around.
Yeah. My
Your
dad-
dad's
my
on another
dad-
dimension.
I'm sorry.
My dad is
And
number
your
one.
dad is
he's
a murderer.
He's
All right.
human.
Your dad is a murderer.
Like
Hold
that's
on.
why I would
Yours is
discount.
close.
Your dad is a
Let's jump-
murderer.
All right, hold on. Let's let Schnepp talk.
I would say the reason Superman would not be a good dad is he's fights for truth, justice, and the American way, but he's definitely not around.
Yeah.
He's not around. He's out saving the world.
He's super
my,
fast.
My dad, Big Daddy, actually
fast.
he trained me how to do everything right, and I know I could protect myself.
But your dad
so.
kills people. Your dad's a murderer.
All right.
Vigilante
Sometimes
Check
things
this
murderer.
out.
happen
Hey, Dad,
that
I
way.
need you. Cool. Hey, I'm fighting Parasite right now. What's up?
What's
Oh,
up?
Hey,
All right.
I have
Sorry.
these weird things in my pants. Oh, I'll teach you about puberty real quick. Go kills Parasite. Go teach me about
All
puberty.
right, rolling or order. We could go in circles. This is actually very fun, but I think I have what I need. Dan, though, I want to come to you. Anything you can help my dad and I in our knowledge here.
Well, DC kind of had the crisis which separates their mythology. Initially, Alfred did not know at
he
first.
picked Michael Caine. We did. You picked Christopher Reeve,
Yeah.
and you picked Michael Caine. I'm
Well,
basing on that.
then Michael Caine has been on board. I mean, from the beginning with that version of.
But didn't
of the
train
Batman.
him because Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul trained him.
Right,
But
but-
once Bruce Wayne came back, Alfred was in on it the whole time.
Right.
His counselor.
Just one quick thing with Nick. You said that you would take half of Superman money. He doesn't. Superman. He doesn't get paid.
Well, no,
He's
that's-
just a superhero.
That's until
Good
I
point,
get
Dan.
on board.
All right, here's where I'm gonna. Is there anything else?
No.
All right, just for sake of time, and keeping us moving. This one was legitimately tough. This was actually a fun one. I wasn't sure if it would be, but where I'm stuck is I don't think some of your facts line up because you were very close, but I think they're right, and he's right. Like Alfred's there, but they had a lot more points. The thing that really, but he's emotionally a good one, but I don't think he did train. You said he did. He said he did a lot more than I think Alfred actually did. Alfred was there for him, but he's also paid to be there, as Nick pointed out. But the thing that made me sell, aside from the obvious fact of what kid wouldn't want to be, have the superpowers and all those things, we just can't undeny that. The thing you said of everyone thinks their dad is Superman, and now your dad is Superman. I think Christopher Reeve stands for all the good things that we'd want a dad to be, as you say, and I think the only argument against you is he wouldn't be there. But then when you threw in that he runs really fast, that's true.
It's a hard one to argue.
I gotta
Superman.
say, I think Superman. It's hard to deny why you wouldn't want your dad to be Superman.
learned how to game.
Dad, what do you think?
Well, I know your dad's Superman, but
He is.
Bam.
I couldn't pick Steve, so I had to pick Superman.
No. Quickly.
Hang on a second.
I just
you
want to say
already
that,
won.
I just want to say that my choice would have been Jack Nicholson's character in The Shining because he would have chased me through a hedge maze. But
worst dad.
I agree with you.
Yay! All right. Nick gets the point.
I keep losing.
John is very good.
John, you were very close. That
you
was
sure?
really good.
Oh my God.
I keep losing.
It
I
was
feel like
hard.
I'm not
It
doing a
was
good
so-
job.
No.
Nick's just is a tough one to beat, but you are bringing it. Don't fail. Don't worry.
An
Now,
hour
round
prep.
4.
Yeah, an hour prep. Sure.
We are in the middle of. I will tell you this halfway. We are bringing you back no matter what
Oh,
because
thank
you're
you.
doing fantastic.
Thank
Round
you.
4. We are in the middle of a summer movie season, which is always full of hits and disappointments. Dan and I established that last week with Jurassic World.
I'm with you, Dan. By the way.
Thank you.
It is, no, and honestly, we're making fun of Dan, but Dan did a great battle, and there's a lot of people who didn't like it. So
I did not like
think
it.
it is a very in between movie. So which brings up this question that Hi Lee 22 on Twitter, Haley Whitney, who asked, "What is the most disappointing summer blockbuster of all time?" Now this isn't the worst movie of all time. I mean, you can sort of bring that in, but summer movies bring expectations and excitement, and we really want to see it. Which movie of the summer let us down the most? We're going to start with you, Nick.
My movie is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And that title just makes me hate myself just right away. And I'm not going to talk
hate
about
Lucas.
I'm not going to talk about it's been ad nauseum why this movie's garbage and everyone's awful. Instead, I'm going to tell you a personal story. I was a senior in high school, 1999, and I had a decision to make. Either finish an English project that would have taken up like 6 weeks, like a whole segment of my grade that I was already not doing great in. Or do that or go sleep 3 days for Star Wars tickets so I could see the first screening. Because Movie Phone was just coming out. So, of course, I skipped school for 3 days. And I survived heat, Texas heat, a tropical storm, Star Wars nerds, Eagle-Eyed Cherry Save Tonight playing over and over and over again. And then I saw Star Wars. And then I realized my life is stupid. Everything I did was a waste of time.
Wow.
I should have been studying and doing good in school, and now I might fail. And I might not graduate. I got a paper because I got the woman Star Wars tickets to see the movie and tricked her to saying it was good and passed. But it's, you make choices in life, and I made the worst choice. I almost didn't graduate because of Star Wars. And yes, that's my fault, but it's Star Wars' fault for being that bad. Star Wars ruined me. It ruined a lot of people. I think this happened to a lot of people. And, go to hell.
You're just getting started on that. Jon Schnepp.
All right. So I picked The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And one of the reasons I picked it is because it had built up so much expectation from me from seeing all the different trailers. It was a reboot from the Raimi Spider-Mans. I thought the first one was okay, just The Amazing Spider-Man. They had the Lizard. It was an okay reboot. And so I was actually looking forward to them bringing in Oscorp and bringing in Green Goblin. And from the trailers, even though I had some issues with the metallic, robot Rhino, just from the trailers alone, I was like, oh, it makes sense. All of the villains are being, born in Oscorp because when you have a 2-hour movie, you have to kind of abbreviate some of the origins. And I was like, this is a really intelligent way to bring in all the different characters. They're all part of Spider-Man, Vulture, Lizard. I mean, they're all, they were used. Oh, it makes sense. Eels for Electro. Can't wait to see it. It seems really cool. The special effects look really great. Trailer after trailer, my expectations grew. I was like, wow, it looks like they're actually going to do a really exciting superhero film with Spider-Man and all the characters that I grew up loving. And then I saw the movie, and I found it to be one of the worst films of the year. Not just a superhero film, but just badly put together, horribly written. I didn't know who directed it. It seems like 19 people directed it. The tone of the film changed. Most of my friends who would try to defend it were like, well, look, the Peter Parker Mary Jane scenes were cool, or Gwen Stacy scenes were cool. I really believed in their chemistry and this and that. And I was like, yeah, but if you take all the other horrible scenes away, you still have a really bad film.
Hey, man,
those other scenes.
You're in a safe place. That movie was bullshit.
I'm just saying.
Show
it's
us on the doll, man. Show us.
It was really, and I really felt. Thank you. I really felt violated. Can I say that? When I saw that movie, because it felt like I was watching Batman and Robin whenever Electro was on the screen. It had this really horrible,
Riddler.
garish lighting, and yeah, he was the Riddler. Then he turned into Electro, and he was Mr. Freeze. It was like the worst of both of those films together.
That was a great moment when he shows up in the outfit and then can go through the outlet.
Yeah, now he's also Dr. Manhattan.
Leather, yeah.
How did he
Leather
become?
Just pass through.
Yeah, he's Dr. Manhattan. Where
All
did
right,
he get that?
I think you're both clearly still scarred, and we'll get more to it. But let's get John Rocha in this debate.
Midi-chlorians.
Okay.
What's your pick?
My most disappointing blockbuster was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That film.
Can we all just agree these are three terrible movies?
Yeah. Can we all win this round?
Yeah. I mean, this one for me just was so damn disappointing. I saw it here in LA in Westwood. I went to see one of the first showings of it, I did kind of like the same thing where I camped out and all the kind of jazz just to be able to go because I'm a huge...
How many days?
Huh?
How many days?
Not 3.
Okay.
Not 3.
How
But
much you buy, Jerry?
trust me, I'll be countering you in a second. But at Westwood, I was there, and it was such a great experience. And people were dressed up, not just as Indiana. Some people dressed up as like the bad guy in the first one, the German guy that gets his face melted off, and as Karen Allen's or Nancy Allen's character. So I was
Karen
really,
Allen. It was actually
I'm sorry, Karen Allen's character. And so it was fantastic to see all of that. So it was great for me. You guys are throwing me off right now. And I was doing all this and enjoying it. And then you go into the film and you get, I'm going to survive a nuclear bomb from hiding in a refrigerator. It's about aliens. And spoiler, I guess if you're watching this, spoiler, and Shia LaBeouf is your son. Shia LaBeouf is your son. I think he's a good actor. I liked Fury. I liked him in Fury. I don't think he's Indiana Jones' son, first of all. And so to me, that was a huge negative. The whole film itself almost like kind of tried to destroy the myth of Indiana Jones, and Harrison Ford, who I love to death, just wasn't fully dialed in, and you could tell he was hating what he was doing. And I don't know how you mess up Cate Blanchett. Cate Blanchett is one of the best actresses walking the planet, and she was not good in this film. And I don't know what was going on. Sometimes really good actors get on films, and they just start to like osmosis, start to do less work because everyone else is not bringing their A game. And that's how it works, kind of like this show. Like people do anything, So I would say to me that was the most disappointing for me. I walked out and I was literally like, I can't believe this. Like, I can't believe they had 20 effing years to fix this, to figure this out, to do a new story. And you hear all that. I read all the articles how they rejected all these other scripts and all these other things, and they spent numerous amount of time rewriting and hiring new writers and trying to get something that appealed to the masses nowadays. And this is what they came out with, and it was terrible.
Rebuttals.
Well, I think yes, but to me, you didn't have that feeling in the trailers when watching it, because like when I was watching, like I saw the trailers and I saw the casting and I heard the I was like, this is gonna suck. And then after Lucas did episode 1, I was like, there's no way this is gonna be good. Like I had no expectation. I never actually saw that movie.
Which one?
The Indiana Jones.
So then what are you talking? You can't even counter me then.
No, because but you just told me it's terrible. I trust you.
What am I doing here?
No, you're a very smart guy, and I trust your opinion. So why would I see it when my friend just told me this movie's really bad?
Spoiler.
Of course that movie was going to be terrible. Of course it was going to be bad.
No, it's not of course at all.
And then your movie, it's like, yeah, but did you give up hope after you saw that movie? Like,
no, I'm happy that they are rebooting it.
No, cool, but after I saw my movie, it was so disappointing, which is the question. I gave up hope. I gave up that Star Wars could ever be good again. It's been since 1999, and granted, like you said, JJ's doing it, and I'm not watching any of the trailers, but because I'm trying not to get so excited. But like,
wait a minute, you haven't seen the trailer?
I haven't seen. No, I only saw.
Come
the teaser.
on, Nick.
No, I know.
It's so good.
I'm
You're
a hero.
Cry. You're gonna cry.
I know. Well, if it's good,
it will be good.
I've been broken. I've been promised that before, and my heart's been broken, and it's just. Because of Star Wars,
So
like I can never.
You said you wanted to go like why?
Okay, so here's the
I
deal.
think these two.
Okay.
They're all good, but
Yeah.
these two clearly were probably even higher expectations.
Okay, fair enough.
Why is yours worse than
people of a
Phantom
certain
Menace?
age do love the prequels? People of a certain age, kids of a certain age, absolutely love the prequels. And I've encountered this hosting Far, Far Away on Geek Nation that I do with Tiffany Smith. Plug. But like they love. I'm with you. I think the film's terrible.
Yeah.
However, I've been so surprised at how many people actually loved the film. So you may not have seemed disappointed, but people loved it, and people spent money. It made money.
They're wrong.
Also, you ended up on this set, so your geek thing was still correct for where you were going, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then the second thing is that it motivated you to stay in school and study. Instead of being a geek and dropping out and being a mad geek, you'd be in someone's basement right now. But look at you.
You know
You're
I
a
did it
success
through
You're on
bribing.
this show.
Through
bribery. Let me say two things about both of the films.
And then with yours, the first movie was already uneven, and people weren't happy with it.
Yeah.
So the second one no one was looking forward to. As soon as Jamie Foxx got cast, people were already out on that film. And then the trailers were terrible, and then it wasn't so bad because they made a Sinister Six. They made a Sinister Six movie. So, I mean, it still made money. It made a crap ton of money. So that's my counter to that.
All right, so they never made a Sinister Six movie.
They're making it.
No, they're not.
They were in
That
production.
got canceled.
Did they
What I'm
cancel
trying to
it?
tell you is
Oh.
it destroyed whatever franchise they were trying to rebuild. It destroyed a second franchise. Both of your films you're talking about, when you saw Phantom Menace, I agree with you. I saw it as an adult, watched it, and looked down in front of my chair saying, I can't believe I'm bored at a Star Wars movie. They're talking about taxes and federations, and it was one of the most incredibly disappointing films that I'll ever remember. But but what happened is Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and now we're talking about Episode 7. So though that was a failure, it didn't destroy the franchise, and in fact, it's part of the canon. So everyone, unfortunately, has to always
proved
talk
God
about.
could bleed, though.
It proved that God is made up of midi-chlorians.
Yeah,
it's one of the dumbest things on the planet. Raiders of the Lost Crystal
of the
Skulls,
Crystal-
what a horrible garbage film that
It
is.
was.
But they're still talking about making another film with Harrison Ford or Chris Pratt. We don't know. It didn't kill the franchise. This didn't kill the franchise. They had to give it back to Marvel. This is one of those films that was such a bad film. It doesn't even matter that it made money. It's an embarrassment. Do you
Yeah, but your
realize
films-
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is such an embarrassment that Sony had to give this gigantic blockbuster
Here's my question.
sum of money
Right, but
back
the
to
characters
Marvel.
in both your films are all coming back. They're already in production. This is so bad that they're not sure they're going to bring it back.
No, they're bringing
Yours
it back.
are both bringing it back.
No,
Yeah,
they're
but
bringing it
but
back.
listen,
No,
I'm dealing with facts.
They're all coming back in some fashion.
Here's
or
my
other.
question.
Hold
I
on.
don't know
I just
about
want us to focus on most disappointing.
Yeah.
It's not the worst.
Right,
Which one went? When did we go in and walk away with the worst feeling of like, wow, they really bumbled it? And I want all three of you. One last thought.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. You can
Here's
start.
the thing. I didn't see Indiana Jones because I was already bludgeoned by the prequels. Amazing Spider-Man was like, we all admit, it was like, a decent movie into a terrible movie. That happens all the time. Right. You guys were you guys worried about prequels when you first saw Episode 1 back in 1999? Did you have any thought this could be bad?
Sure. Of course.
For me,
he did Howard.
I didn't think it was going to be horrible. I thought, I
Lucas
can't wait to see it. I was
didn't
actually
Lucas
had
do Howard the Duck?
expectations.
Didn't George Lucas do Howard the Duck?
still-
He did
Enough said.
Willow as well.
Yeah, enough said.
No,
so there was
but-
already a track record
but
of
you
crap.
You were excited about it. You were like,
Okay, but wrap up your final point. Is-
To me, it was like, this is a movie. It was like, oh, heroes can do wrong, and then like it just destroyed the mindset of Star Wars was this perfect thing that I loved more than anything, and then it was just destroyed out of the water.
and so hard for me to compare which one did worse because you haven't seen the other one, but fair. Okay, got it. Schnepp, last thoughts.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is like Batman and Robin all over again, and no one learned anything from Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin is a nightmare, horrible, garbage piece of film, which is just should not exist. And that was made in 1997. And here we are in 2000. It came out in 2014, and they made something akin to Batman and Robin. It's an embarrassment to superhero films, and I wish you can erase it. But I guess the best thing they could do is give it back to Marvel. So for me, it was a really large disappointment. With Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, and even the Indiana Jones series, after seeing Indiana Jones, I was super disappointed. It was a really bad film. But I thought, they're just going to make another one. With Star Wars, I knew they had 2 more films to try to erase the idea of midi-chlorians and Jar Jar Binks, which I think they did. They successfully don't mention those things anymore, and I'm pretty sure Jar Jar is going to die. So that's it.
John, Rocha, go ahead. Last
Yeah,
thought.
I mean, Star Wars is a difficult one to counter. You're right. A lot of people stood in line, people waited. But in the end, to me, I think the Indiana Jones one, people were expecting more from this because it was Spielberg, because it was Lucas. Again, so you get the double, which is yours is only just Lucas. And so people thought because they loved the third one, they loved the first one. The second one you can go back and forth on. But like people thought for sure this was going to be their hero back, and you get Harrison Ford, his appealing stuff, new adventure, and people love those kinds of films. And I think everyone was looking forward to it, from grandfather to father to child, was looking forward to experiencing another adventure with Harrison Ford, with Han Solo. I mean, with Indiana Jones, and they got horribly disappointed by what they saw and lost in this aliens crap and a crystal skull. And with yours, there were 2 other movies to save it. With this, there wasn't.
All right. Good round. Where I'm leading my decision because they're all terrible movies. Again, focus on most disappointing and the arguments. I think Mr. Rocha here took yours down the best, whereas I feel like you really just sort of just kept saying more your personal story, and you didn't really even mention Jar Jar Binks. It's like I was waiting for you to say, yes, you do. It's movie fights. You didn't even say it. And then with you, with Jon Schnepp, I think that John here got you, Rocha got you back, where it's like the expectations weren't as high because we didn't all love the first one. So that one was not as big, whereas Indiana Jones, it was the return of Harrison Ford and Spielberg and all these amazing George Lucas together, and it was Shia LaBeouf swinging with monkeys. Like that was.
And the
just
monkeys
an
had greaser
embarrassment.
hairstyles. Remember that?
It was an embarrassment
They actually
of that
had
amazing
like 50s
franchise.
hairstyles.
I don't
So-
disagree with you. Why would you guys ever see this movie as humans?
Look,
Like,
we went
we loved
opening
Raiders
weekend
of the
'cause-
Lost
yeah.
Ark. Come on.
So anyway, I got to give the point to John, which would finally put him on the board. But Dad,
I'm not
going
gonna
to
celebrate early.
No celebrating yet. What do you think?
give it to John.
I'm terribly disappointed that you didn't mention Waterworld, but I agree with you.
Oh, okay.
I get a point.
Waterworld.
Yes.
I actually liked Waterworld.
Get out.
I did too.
You're on the board.
Thank you.
Waterworld is the only
right.
film that has a man drink his own piss.
Yeah, I've seen in the beginning.
I actually have the action figure and I was selling
Yeah,
it. It
starts-
had a
Kevin
figure
Costner
that sells
starts
drinks his own
peeing
pee.
and- Yeah, it's filtered.
That's not the
Round
only
5.
No, it's not.
All right, in honor of Jon Schnepp here, which we're honored to have.
Hey.
His movie, if you don't know about it, I haven't seen it yet. I look forward to seeing it. Let me know when we can see it.
Definitely.
I guess we're going to tell you right now. July 9th, correct?
Yes.
He did a fantastic movie called The Death of Superman Lives, which is about Tim Burton's lost Superman movie, yes?
Yeah, it's called The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened? Yeah, because The Death of Superman Lives is like a comic book, and I'm actually doing a documentary. I made a documentary about this Superman movie that Tim Burton was going to
Starring Nicolas Cage, right?
Nicolas Cage was going to play Superman. Kevin Smith had written one of the drafts. A bunch of different writers had written different drafts.
It gotten pretty far along.
Yeah, Christopher Walken was going to play Brainiac. I mean, it was going to be quite...
I thought it was Jim Carrey. Was it?
No. Those are. That's why the movie. I went through and asked everybody these questions and talked to Tim Burton, and it was quite a journey. It took me 2.5 years to make it, and I finally even got John Peters like 2 months before I finished the edit. I had to take my entire movie apart to put John Peters back in, to put him back in the film, and it was completely worth it. The man is.
This movie is going to be incredible.
Wow, I'm excited. So the movie comes out July 9th, and
July
you can
9th
go to
digitally, yeah.
www.tdoslwh. The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? That's the initials. We'll make sure it's in the description as well.
Yeah,
or look them up on Twitter. You'll find it.
TDOSLWH.com. That's where you find
I
it.
can't wait to see this.
And
Yeah, me
it
too,
looks
bud.
really
Me
great.
too.
So we're excited to see it. So
Thanks.
I wanted to make. I just genuinely wanted to make sure we get you a good plug.
Thank you.
But that brought up a fantastic question. We thought, which came from @SlimeBeast on Twitter. Which abandoned or canceled film do you wish we could have seen? And we're taking Superman. We're taking yours. The Death of Superman Lives out. Aside from that one, which one was in development that sounded amazing that we would have loved to have seen that we didn't get to see? And we're going to start with you, Mr. Schnepp.
All right. Well, like we know of a ton of these different films, and sticking with the superhero film, I picked James Cameron's Spider-Man. So this was going to be the first official movie version of Spider-Man, and James Cameron, as we know, incredibly talented writer director from the Terminator series, Titanic, Avatar, a lot of his films, and a lot of the films he's produced as well. Really looking forward to that. I remember reading about it when I was younger, and I was like, wow, I cannot wait to see James Cameron's take.
What year was this?
This was, I believe,
94.
Yeah, thank you. 94, 95, right around there.
So instead of True Lies.
Yeah, he was actually gonna make this, and some of his ideas carried over into Raimi's Spider-Man, which is basically the organic web shooters that was written into James Cameron's script. He was gonna have Electro, he was gonna have the Vulture. He had a lot of different. He was also a big fan of Steve Ditko, so I think a lot of the way the characterizations, just like Raimi was a fan of Ditko and the older Spider-Mans, this would have rung true that way, but it would have had Cameron's flavor to it, which I love all of his films pretty much. I mean, there's not one stinker really in there. So to me, that's a film that I wish could have been made. So
Great. John Rocha, what do you think?
My choice was Quentin Tarantino's The Vega Brothers. He was gonna do one with Vincent Vega and Vinny Vega. It was gonna be Big Vega. It was gonna be John Travolta and
Michael Madsen.
Michael Madsen. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's like I said, hour to prepare. And so I loved Reservoir Dogs. I loved Pulp Fiction, and I thought this would be awesome. Plus, it would really encapsulate that 70s style that he was always going for, and he'd have so much to work with by doing that with those two actors and with those two characters and having them be brothers. It was almost like, I feel like From Dusk Till Dawn was like a version of that, and it could have been, and this with these two characters would have been like a whole nother level to which we could have gone to. Probably that level of Kill Bill that we see now. It would have been that kind of level, and so for me, that's the one that's the most disappointing. But can I throw out an honorable mention?
Sure.
Okay. I just discovered this. Apparently, Stanley Kubrick and the Beatles were working on doing, in 1969, a version of Lord of the Rings, where all four of them would be in Lord of the Rings.
I don't know if I mean, I'm curious. But
I mean, that alone would have been, if nothing broke up the group, that would have broke up the group, just fighting
Would
who's
they have
going to be
done
Bilbo,
music?
John or Paul, It would just be the
Just
whole
watch
fight.
Kiss Meets Fan of the Park. It'd be the same thing.
Nick, what's your choice?
Or Sgt. Pepper's Lonely
I
Hearts.
can't wait to rebuttal you because I read the James Cameron script last night in preparation.
excellent.
Because I'm a crazy person. This one's pretty easy. George Miller made the coolest movie of the year with Mad Max. I
Agreed.
think we can all
Agreed.
He's probably made the coolest movie in the top 5 in the last 20, 25 years. He was going to make the Justice League. how cool would it be if the greatest, like the coolest director right now would have taken some of the best characters ever and made a badass Justice League movie that we deserve? And I'm not talking about like terrible green screen, shitty effects Justice League that's in the Snyder universe that we're gonna get. I'm talking about ones that pushes the boundaries of filmmaking, pushes the boundaries of special effects and stunts and filmmaking. And I know you're gonna say there's a script out there, you know, and there was like rumors and stuff. It's George Miller. He's going to make it. Like, that was all. If we got past that writer's strike, it was going to be something we've never seen before, and it was going to be a killer story with Max Lord and the Omax, and it was going to be what everyone gives me crap for hating DC. No, I love DC. I love this George Miller DC. This is a DC I want to make. If we could get the guy who made Mad Max to make a superhero movie, that would be the greatest superhero movie in the world.
I mean, they must be kicking themselves now.
Oh my God,
right?
no, yeah. And it's hard to argue your point.
He's like 90 years old too, right?
It's hard to argue your point, but it's not hard to argue your point because guess what? So Doc Ock in James Cameron's Spider-Man was bitten by a radioactive spider. Spider-Man and Mary Jane have a pretty hardcore sex scene where Peter ties her up with webbing.
What?
Doc Ock has a catchphrase, okie
Wait, is this
dokie.
a bad list or a good list?
No, has a catchphrase that he says, okie dokie, 50 times.
Wait, I thought you said we were going to go by scripts. This is a rough draft.
No, Doc Ock has a henchman named Wiener and calls himself Spider-Man.
You cannot use a draft of James Cameron's and then say you can't use the
Justice
Justice League Mortal
Here's why you can. Mad Max wasn't like a great script. It wasn't a great script.
You're talking about the guy who directed
script.
Happy Feet too, as well, George Miller.
Sorry.
Which is adorable.
You've never seen it.
Yeah, you haven't seen it.
You have not seen
Oh,
it.
I'll admit if I haven't seen a movie.
You just lost
seen it,
right
Nick?
there.
I've not
Happy
seen
feet.
it.
You just lost your argument.
No. Spider-Man.
This is an interesting situation that George Miller's in because, brother, yes, this Mad Max film was fantastic.
love it.
However, it took 30 damn years to make this damn film.
And that's what Justice League deserves.
How long would this have been in rotation before we actually saw this movie? God knows.
I would rather wait 30 years to see George Miller.
Well, I mean, he
than
cast
Snyder.
it. It got to the point of casting
Got
and
to the
readings.
right.
Like, it just lost the money, wasn't it?
Well, there was the writer's strike. I've seen all the outfits. And believe me, the outfits were not that good. So and there's the storyboards that are slowly leaking out. But if that film did get made, it would not be what Fury Road is. Fury Road is a passion project that George Miller worked on for over 18 years, for over 19 years, for over 20 years. He storyboarded it with Brendan McCarthy. I've seen the storyboards from 10 years ago from Fury Road. It's an incredible film, and you have to owe it to that guy for the persistence of not giving up because everything was against him. Justice League for him was a job. It was a job, just like Happy Feet.
But
So
his quirky
I don't have the
nature-
same.
All of these
it's
are
not
the
same-
job.
No.
But his quirky
Cameron's was a job with Spider-Man.
No, that's something he gunned for. He specifically
Well,
wanted
no.
to make it. George Miller was just given it. It's a job.
But both of these are chances that are both taking. This is Tarantino's material. He would have known it back to front, top to bottom, and he would have created a phenomenal film. I mean, if you can name me one bad Quentin Tarantino film, I'm all ears.
Tarantino could have made
Or
that
even
whenever
two.
he wanted.
Like
what I'm saying is Tarantino could have decided to make a
but
Vega
those
Brothers.
characters are more interesting in his hands.
It's his
That's right.
decision to give up on his own character.
Because
So
it must not have been a good story.
yeah, no,
if
he
wanted
decided
to make
to do
it, he
other
could have made
things,
it.
and he decided to do From Dusk Till Dawn with that same kind of character.
It could
set.
also be that they couldn't sell Michael Madsen.
No,
because
that's
Michael
not it.
Madsen at that time was just slid
No.
right into B movies.
Tarantino could sell
Just
anything he
Travolta.
wants. He could pluck
You can sell Michael
anybody
Madsen
and
with a
get
Vegas
any-
trip at the Gold Club.
Well,
Yeah,
how does James Cameron not sell Spider-Man then? If
Well,
that's
no,
the
'cause
counter
it was
argument.
Carol
Because it was so terrible.
He had,
It was so
he had-
fun,
no,
man.
'cause
Read that script. It's all
Hold
fine.
on, Nick. Hold on.
He did not own the rights to it. It was
Yeah, but he's a
Carol
fucking
Co.
billionaire. He could have bought the
No,
rights. It's nothing.
you know how-
Titanic can
Hold
come
on,
out before he
hold
was
on,
going to
let's
Spider-Man.
You know how things work.
Sorry.
If you don't own the rights to something,
Yeah.
you don't own you can't make it. And he didn't own the rights. It was something that he was gunning for, and he personally wanted to make it. And he's a writer director. I mean, George Miller can be a hired gun, and he's proven it. He's an incredible director when he's doing what he wants.
Right.
Justice League Mortal is a job. So that's all I can say
Except here's the
about it.
thing. Here's the thing. We didn't get the Vega Brothers movie, but we got so many other great Quentin Tarantino movies instead.
From his universe.
You know, we didn't get James Cameron's terrible Spider-Man, but we got True Lies, one of the best underrated
And
action
Terminator
movies.
and
Yeah.
Avatar.
We're now getting. We didn't get George Miller's Justice League, and now we're getting Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
The world would be a better place if this movie got made. Whereas yours, I think the right thing happened with both of your movies.
But which one do you think you'd be looking forward to more? Not having seen Fury Road. Like it would have come out.
George Miller.
You really?
Based on the old Mad Max.
Based on Thunderdome, you would have been like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what he does with Justice."
Over Snyder?
Oh, really?
Yes.
You saw Thunderdome, you're like, "Oh God, I can't wait to see what
Get
quirky
Tina Turner. Get Tina Turner to play Amanda Waller. Get Tina Turner to play Amanda Waller.
The guy who directed Babe and Happy Feet. I can't wait to see what he does.
Over
Justice
Snyder?
League. Yeah.
Over Schneider? Yes.
Well, but you're saying that in retrospect. I'm saying at the time.
No, in life. Yes.
All right. I'm basing on. I think I have my ruling. Dan, anything you need to clean up here?
So much, but
Anything most important?
Well, the Cameron Spider-Man movie died in large part because Marvel went bankrupt, so they really turned that around. And George Miller, not quite 91, he's 70.
Oh, okay.
So
I keep hearing he's like as old as Clint Eastwood. Hell, isn't Clint Eastwood?
Clint Eastwood's older. He's almost 90.
I think 71 in Australia is 91 everywhere else.
No,
that's a tough
that's still
continent.
It's like 30.
impressive.
That's a
Miller
tough
could
Directing
continent.
Mad Max at 71 is quite impressive.
Eastwood is 85.
Incredible.
Okay. Great. All right. So based on those arguments again,
George Miller could kick our ass.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that.
I think something Nick said spoke to me the most in that he said both of these movies went in better places, as did the filmmakers in a way, whereas Justice League is still sitting there and now stuck. I don't want to say it's going to be bad, but in the Man of Steel tone, I think we're a little worried about it. And I think whether it was a job or not, he's a good director. It would have been interesting and would have gotten them off their butt to get that going quicker and get us in that world. So I think George Miller's Justice League is the choice here for me, unless my dad revolts the choice.
No, I'm with you.
Steve, you're the beautiful
Nick
person.
gets the point. So, Nick, that automatically puts you into the final round.
I want to see Vegas movie. I want to.
Schnepp
Why didn't you say that we were arguing?
Schnepp and Rocha, you are tied for 1 point.
For 1 point.
We're working on scoreboards. I know it's annoying. Everyone, trust me. I've heard it. We're working on it. But that's the update on the score. Correct, Dan? Three for Nick.
3 to
one of
1
each
to
for
1.
you two, Johns.
That's correct.
So
think
this
I'm
next
gonna
one's
stop?
important. If Nick gets it, then we'll do a tiebreaker for you, and then you guys are in a little bit of the heat. But hopefully one of you gets this round and can take Nick to the finals. All right, round 6. This is a new thing we're going to do here on Movie Fights. It's called a Movie Fights rematch. We got a lot of fights, and there's a lot of ones that I think we could have done better. So sometimes we're going to bring an old fight back. And so we're debating a previous topic with a new group of panelists. The previous winner of this question has been disqualified.
Oh.
But it's also the answer to this week's honest trailer clue. So go do your research. Haha, someone's going to figure it out. And then they'll tell it in the comments. And then it'll be spoiled and no one has to do the research.
Have some imagination.
Yeah, come on, for real. Jeff Dumn.
I would say dumb.
Dumb. Sorry if I mispronounced your name wrong. I don't want to call you dumb. Dumb, if that's right.
Dumb.
What is the best movie death ever? We were asked. It's been asked a bunch. It's been asked again. We have done it before. What is the best movie death? And we're going to start with you, John.
Okay, the best movie death for me now. This is, I was handed this, so I'm like, okay, what is, in my opinion? My opinion, it's Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner. That's my favorite movie death of all time because of all that goes on in that film beforehand and all that's involved with him. You know,
Give us the quick just recap again.
Oh yeah, it's a film set in the future. It's the best sci-fi movie ever made, in my opinion. And Rutger Hauer and Daryl Hannah and I forget the other character actor's name. They're all replicants.
Harrison Ford?
No, character actor. The other guy. Time to die. And they're all replicants, and Harrison Ford is assigned to chase down rogue replicants. Replicants are androids that have been created to work on off-colony, basically slaves for 3 years, and they have a 3-year lifespan. These replicants find out that they have a 3-year lifespan, and they want to find their creator to find out like why they are destined to die. And it's basically, like symbolism for us, like wanting to meet God and go like, why was I created? What was my purpose? What's my meaning in life? Why do I have to die? And it's a very fantastic exploration of that theme alone. But then you throw in Harrison Ford as Deckard, who's chasing them down, and he's supposed to be like the angel of death, who's killing all these guys so that they don't kill humans, and they don't. And so his death, because of the symbolism of what you think you're supposed to connect with Harrison, and you connect with Rutger Hauer's character more because he's it's ironic, he's the android, but in essence he's the human in this situation, and and especially when you find out later that Deckard might be a replicant himself. And so it's a fascinating extra. When he dies. He dies fighting Harrison Ford, fighting to get the answers, killing his God. And then at the end, he saves Harrison Ford when he could let him die, because in the end, that's what humans would do. And then he accepts his death. And he said, that was his moment of accepting his death. And so the symbolism of it all, the meaning of it, that he's still a good person, even though he's committed some of these bad acts to get to where he's going, just like the human race commit bad acts, but in the end, they're essentially good. I think that's what affected me the most about that death, and the simplicity with which he dies and the way it's shot by Ridley Scott in the rain like a noir. So that's
iconic. Nick, what's yours?
This guy's had an hour to prep? I mean,
it's my film. I love that film.
I spent 7 weeks. Okay, I can still top it. Awesome. So in the classic RoboCop, during the final shootout, yeah, John. Yep. Get on camera on John.
RoboCop, yes!
Yeah, see? He's excited, told you.
Damn it.
Get on with
during
it,
the
Nick.
final... Nope, got to build it. One of the bad guys, Emil, drives a van through a bunch of barrels of acid, right? Gets out of the van and he starts melting, like he starts melting like shit. And then his friend hits him with the car and blows him up.
Yeah. Becomes liquid.
Yeah, because he's soft from acid. And to quote Emil, I like it. That's the best death in the
I'd
movie.
buy that for $1.
Yeah, it's the best death.
There's also help me.
Yeah. So also, I don't want to see Rutger Hauer die ever.
Like tears in the rain.
Yeah.
Fun fact for my mom's here. That actor was played by Paul Crane, who I think went to your high school, Holy Ghost.
So there we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
from ER. There we go.
Paul Crane. Paul
He's a
Crane's death.
good actor and a nice guy.
Good
yeah.
death.
Didn't he
Good
lose
death.
his arm on ER too? That guy can't catch a break.
I know. Yeah.
Can't catch a break. All right.
I don't have
Mr.
much to
Schnepp.
say, but
Those are both fantastic. My pick was for Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood's film, which really brought back the dark Western, which is one of my favorite genres. And it was the Little Bill death, the actor Gene Hackman, who basically played a very antagonistic, horrible sheriff who was abusing his power and really pushed. For me, the film was about, you can try to run away from certain things of what you are, but ultimately, if you are a really bad person, you can go back and like, I'm not that person. That person isn't me anymore. And he's pushed to his limits, and then he becomes that person again. And that's one of the most frightening things about the film Unforgiven is like, I'm not that guy anymore. And then he is that guy. And when he is that guy, it's not like a big action shootout. It shows you just how ugly death can be and how unforgiving it truly is. And that's why it was very meaningful when you saw Little Bill die. You don't actually see his head explode from the shotgun. You just see the look in his face and the look in Clint Eastwood's face and that incredible dead acting that Clint Eastwood can do so well. And then he moved on to do tons of other movies and as a director now, but he brought that character back from his earlier years of doing all the spaghetti westerns, but he brought with it this incredible pathos and horror. It's actually a horror film, what Unforgiven is, showing you what death really is. So to me, that was one of the, I'm not going to disagree that Blade Runner is one of my favorite science fiction films, but to me, there's so many movie deaths. That's the one I picked.
To me, I would counter both your choices. Why? He's an insignificant character who gets killed. Yeah, it's an interesting death, but we've seen interesting
barrels of acid.
But you did the dip. What's the difference? Those are the same deaths. So I mean, those deaths that doesn't make it any special or any different in my opinion. And in this death, bad guys get killed all the time in westerns. That's the whole point of it. It's a great death. Damn it, both of them are. That's a memorable death. I remember that messing me up when I was a teenager seeing that film. And that death is fantastic. But you know it's coming. You always know it's coming.
Here's the thing.
And the Rutger Hauer death, you don't know if he's going to die or not. He's going to eventually die because of the replicant, but you don't know if he's going to die with Harrison. Is he going to kill Harrison? Who else is he going to kill because he killed his god? And so that death means more in terms of the symbolism. The death, he's just a henchman. Kurtwood Smith's death means more in that movie than
because
Homie's death.
Here's the big thing about both of yours.
And Morgan Freeman's death, I think, matters more in that movie than Bill's death.
I think if Rutger Hauer and Gene Hackman drove through a barrel of acid, melted, and then got hit by a car, then those deaths would have been bigger and more important to the movie. But they weren't. It happened in RoboCop. That's why it's the best death. Because
death is all over
Well,
RoboCop.
let me ask this: what defines the best death in a movie? Like, how are we?
Something you've never seen
Yours
before.
is probably the funnest.
Right.
Yours.
I took
so
it.
Where
Mine
do
is
we?
the symbolism.
I've seen yours.
The way I took the question is like someone getting killed. So for you, the symbolism, because Rutger Hauer, he doesn't kill himself. His time he just dies. Right. Sort of like if you're sick and you have that you just die. The way I took it is like the best death of like who getting killed. So that's why
It's
I
like
think
that Timberlake
that's
movie with
well.
the time.
That's what comes into my mind when I was thinking about it, is like
Yeah.
which deaths of different characters who were murdered or killed
Right.
in some way. So
If that was the choice, I would have gone with John Hurt in Alien. that would have been my choice for Beth. Like,
Except there was no acid.
there was coming out of
no, it's
stomach
inside
acid.
it's inside of the alien.
Yeah,
remember,
right.
it has
But there's
blood
stomach
for
acid.
But he did
for
get hit by a
blood.
car afterwards. Yeah, I tried to get this point across.
He's a nobody, man.
He drove through barrels of
Yeah,
acid.
yeah. I think we've all got that point.
All right, I think I've made my ruling on this one based on the arguments. I got to give it to Mr. Rocha here. I think he brought the most reasoning behind his choice. The symbolism alone, how important that moment is in the movie.
Can I get across the acid one more time?
Yours is fun, and I love it, but I didn't hear anything else besides you from that. And it
I like it.
Yeah.
I'd
I'd buy that for $1.
I think he knocked yours down a little bit. I think Morgan Freeman, the thing is, it's a great death, but
Yeah.
I think his was a little bit more on the symbolism.
Who wants to see Rutger Hauer die?
But
made
that
me
doesn't
sad.
mean it's the choice. It goes down all here to my dad. Dad, what do you think?
Have I told you I love those shoes again? Have I told you?
Kiss ass.
Death is symbolic, so I agree with you.
Yes!
Nice.
Okay,
All
but he was
right.
covered in acid.
All right. So
Andy,
that means...
Very quickly, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Dan.
We're going to get pilloried if we don't mention this. John, congratulations on the point. I think you could have slam dunked it even home even more. You didn't mention one of the greatest monologues of all time.
Right.
Which is,
Yeah.
I've seen attack ships off the shoulder
Yeah.
of Orion. Those moments gone like tears in rain.
It's like tears.
I just
in the rain.
I had to make mention of it because I know that
Fair,
the
I
commenters
still-
would
yes,
be.
but I still think he got there. Yes, totally legit.
Good point, man.
I feel like the acid thing.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so that means I apologize, but Mr. Schnepp, you did a fantastic game, but you're out of this.
All right.
But we'd like to stay here. We
Sure.
may still need you on the speed round if I need help deciding the winners, and I may activate my dad and you as well to help. So now that we're out of the round, we're here, and we are into the speed round.
This is
Ooh.
like, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, really quick.
This is really fun because
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean Nick and I are going to face each other in the Schmodown on Schmoes Know.
Oh, that's right.
As a
With
trivia,
the-
which is a movie, a
I
16-week.
got Hal.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll be good.
yeah, it's a 16-week like movie trivia thing on
Yeah.
Schmoes Know.
Actually, I
so
think you're
I'm
going
looking
against
forward to
Dan.
it. Oh, well,
Either
Dan
way,
and
whoever, you're going
eventually,
against Screen Junkies.
Yeah,
and
Screen
the
Junkies, yeah.
Schmoes Know Schmodown is going to be very fun. When does
Yeah.
it start? Does anyone know?
End of July.
End of July.
When the
Check out
eagle
Schmoes Know.
flies through a window. That's
But
when
yeah,
it-
you've been great. I want to watch you, but I also want to make sure we beat you. So good luck.
you too.
All right,
You too.
speed round. Before we
will
start,
cheat.
I need to once again thank our sponsors at Squarespace. Squarespace, thank you for sponsoring, and also thank you for making great service here. If you'd like to yell about what we've said today in the comments, just aren't enough, use Squarespace's easy-to-use tools to build Andy'sDadShouldHost.com or NickMundyForPresident.com. Whatever site you'd like to make, you can do it easy on Squarespace.com. And for a free trial with no credit card required, click the annotation or visit squarespace.com/moviefights. And don't forget to use code MovieFights. That way you can save 10% on a new subscription. Squarespace, build it if beautiful, and thank you so much. All right,
If someone gets a Square, how do you say it?
Squarespace.
Squarespace, barrelsofacid.com website, I will send you a big prize.
Wow, you heard it here. If it's not already taken.
Nick,
Can it be a version
technically,
of-
it's not acid; it's toxic waste.
It has the properties
round
of an
over.
acidic property.
All right, speed round rules. We've tested this prior,
not an
so everyone
alkali.
knows how this game works. John and Nick, you know how this works, right?
Yes.
You will get 15 seconds. The first person to say it first gets
National
that choice.
treasure.
If you both say it at the same time, you have to pick another option.
This is awesome.
You get 15 seconds. The next person gets 15 seconds.
And I'm
then
leading by a point.
The second person, or the first person, gets a 5-second rebuttal in case just we've explained all that, just so it's fair and you didn't get because the second person gets a little bit of advantage to be able to use the first person's arguments against themselves. Okay, everyone follow here. And any questions before we
I'm
start?
leading by a point.
It's
You are.
3-2, Nick. Yes.
And this round, Dad, I'm ruling you out unless I act to you just for the sake of speed round and stuff. If I do, I will ask you to help me to do it. But we're going to keep this quick and speedy. So, round one of our speed round. We're asking for an actress. Best Hollywood Emma.
Emma Stone.
Oh, that's right. He said.
So who you pick one? There's a lot of other Emmas.
No, go ahead.
No, you have to pick one. I
Oh,
need to-
oh.
Who's your Emma?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Be anybody.
Jesus.
Watkins.
Shh. Emma.
Emma Frost from the X-Men.
Emma Watson.
Okay, I'm
Emma
ruling
Watson.
that
Sorry,
question out.
Sorry.
Can't talk, Dad.
Sorry.
Way to ruin
I can
it.
go with Emma Watson.
No, you can't because it
All
was
right.
given to you.
Sorry,
All right,
sorry.
starting again
I'm cool with it.
from
I'm
the
cool with
peanut gallery. You can't help our competitors.
I'm cool with it.
No, we're going to start again.
I think I
have
wasted
enough
all my
questions
brain power in the fight.
Number one, actors, no one else talk because they have to give their answers, and I'm going to ask you. You
sorry.
have to give me anybody.
Yes.
Okay. Now that sorry that we didn't rehearse enough. Name anybody, and that because you all have to have a choice. Number one, best Hollywood Josh.
Brolin.
Hartnett.
Brolin versus Hartnett. Josh Brolin. Nick, I heard you first. You're starting.
He's Goonies. He's Thanos. He's a great actor. He's done so many other smaller roles. He can be the leading man. He's a great character actor. He's funnier than people give him credit for, and he's just like legitimately like a badass as a human being. He's also crazy.
And he was in the Goonies.
And Goonies.
No helping.
Oh,
good.
I said
Time's
once.
out. Again, no helping from
Sorry.
anybody. Jeez. I don't have enough questions here if we have to keep coming out. All right. 15 seconds on the clock for Mr. Rocha.
I think Hartnett's a fantastic actor. He's done a lot of good movies, Lucky Number 11, all these other stuff. He's great on Penny Dreadful. He doesn't cheat on Diane Lane, and he's done a lot of great work. He leaves, and he's an up and coming actor who's going to get better. James Brolin, we've seen the best he can do, and Josh still has a future.
Josh Hartnett's been an up and coming actor since 2000. Okay, we've seen what he can do. Brolin's a superstar. He's magic.
Okay. Low blow there. well, or maybe not.
I'm
But
sure
I think,
Hartnett slept around. Not on his wife.
I think, I'm not going to judge him on that. I'm going to judge him on the movies, and I think you did a better job listing the filmography. I don't even need the help. I'm calling it. It's Brolin for that point.
Damn it. That was a good answer.
You can do 40 days and 40 nights.
And Dan, you're keeping track of score for me to know when we're stopping.
It is
right?
now 4-2 Nick,
Okay, 4-2 Nick.
with 4 questions
Number
remaining.
2. Please tell me the best movie with the word good in the title.
Good Burger.
Jesus. Good Day to Die Hard.
He just said A Good Day to Die Hard is a
Clock
good
gonna
movie.
start now.
He just said A Good Day to Die Hard is better. I didn't have to do much. Good Burger is hilarious. It was in focus. It was it didn't shoot on a GoPro. It wasn't the worst movie ever made.
Does that 15
Take my
seconds?
time. Take my time.
All right. Good Burger. I mean, are you kidding with this? This is a child's movie. It wasn't even funny. It wasn't even that good. Kenan Thompson doesn't even talk to his partner anymore. Poor Kel is sitting on the streets begging for money because Kenan won't talk to him because they hated working on the film together because the film's crap. Good Day to Die Hard. At least you have Bruce Willis. At least you have some really well shot stuff. Yeah, the film's not the best, but it's not Good Burger.
Jai Courtney.
That's not. You were close. You actually were closer than you realize, but you focused too much on the Good Burger and didn't give me enough of why Good Day Die Hard was good. So I can't give you the point.
Damn it!
Nick gets the point. I don't even need the peanut gallery again. I'm being decisive on this. That's a point to Nick. Round 3.
Okay, so we're in a situation now, John.
Yeah.
You have to win all 3 of these to
Okay.
force a tiebreaker.
Number 3.
All right,
Here we
see what
go.
happens.
So it's on you, John, to keep this going.
This was my
This
favorite.
is now name any movie. I'm going to give you a specific thing to name, but it's any movie. Ready? Worst movie starring Robert Downey Jr.
The threesome movie.
I need a name of a movie, and I still haven't heard one.
The Pickup Artist.
Air America.
Okay. Got to remind me a little bit about your movies too. But go ahead. We're starting with Pickup Artist.
The Pickup Artist is the worst film ever made, and it destroys Molly Ringwald forever. She had had a burgeoning career, and then boom, she was done right after that movie. Robert Downey Jr. is mailing that in. He's terrible in that movie, and he talks into the mirror. It talks into the camera. It's one of the worst usage of breaking the fourth wall ever seen in a movie.
At least had Molly
hold
Wood.
on. Sorry. Can we start that time? I want to write. This is going to be a hard one.
Yep.
Okay. Nick, start the time. Go ahead.
At least had Molly Ringwald. Air America and Mel Gibson is both their careers their worst movies. They've admitted it, like how bad their movies are. It's what kind of screwed up Robert Downey Jr. It's just the worst, like claptrap. It's the least funny comedy like I've ever seen, and no one.
You're done. 5-second rebuttal based on what he said.
Yeah, you can't bring in the personal stuff if we're not going to bring the personal stuff with Josh Brolin. So it's and Mel Gibson is good in any film he's in.
Wow. Okay, I am going to bring in my help here because this is the defining point, the theory. And so, Mr. Schnepp and Dad, I'm going to ask you based on the arguments who you thought, and I'll be a rule tiebreaker if you didn't. Based on the arguments, just tell me who you think. Who do you think gave the best fight?
I liked Pickup Artists, so I would have to go with Air America.
Based on the arguments.
Based on the arguments, both actors said that they hated Air America.
Okay, so you picked Air America.
You're just taking his word.
Dad.
Pickup Artist.
So it's 1-on-1. I'm gonna go with the Pickup Artist too. I think I don't.
You've never seen Air America.
No, but he
I've
broke
seen-
the fourth.
I've
He
seen-
gave me more things breaking the fourth wall. His list was longer than yours, and for that alone,
fair
I'm
enough.
keeping him in the game. All right.
All terrible. Garbage.
I hit that.
The threesome
You need
movie's
to
the
get.
worst one.
You need to
Is a
get.
better
We got to
film.
keep going. You need to keep the points coming. You're still in this game.
I hit that 3 from
Number-
way downtown.
This is 3 or 4.
This would be round number 4.
Round 4.
Drama.
Name the celebrity that gave us the best voice in an animated feature after the year 2000.
Ellen.
In
Finding Nemo.
5 seconds.
Sorry. I don't know. Albert Brooks in Finding
Oh,
Nemo.
well, just under
Just
the
under
wire.
the wire.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Albert Brooks. Not a bad choice. Ellen, not a bad choice. Nick, you'll lead this. 15 seconds, go.
Albert Brooks was just playing Albert Brooks in that movie. Ellen was a funny character, and it came with a surprise because she's not. I mean, she's an actor, but she's not known for an actor, and I think she had heart, and I think she had like passion, and I think she was hilarious in that movie. Albert Brooks was just doing an Albert Brooks face.
Okay, I will say this. Ellen was funny in the movie, yes, but she's a comedian. She's a stand-up. That's what she does. So it's nothing unusual. Albert Brooks has never shown the humanity and vulnerability in all the films like he did in Finding Nemo. He's a dad on the run to find his son, and there's a lot of tender, sweet moments, and the movie doesn't work without Albert Brooks's vulnerability.
Albert Brooks has been doing that his whole career. That's what Albert Brooks is based on.
Vulnerability?
Yeah, heart.
Okay.
Well, that's,
Wow.
I don't know how to judge that 5
Wow.
seconds. Yeah.
I think they both got a little piece in. I'm gonna allow it. Wow. I gotta give it to Albert Brooks. The vulnerability alone was a lot more than the comedy. I'm not gonna ask for help. I'm calling that. I think
No.
he did it. He gets the point. So that means this breaks a tie. If he gets
So
this,
if
we have
John
to do a
gets this
tiebreaker.
point, we have a sudden death tiebreaker to decide the game. If Nick wins this point, he wins the game outright.
All right. Drama.
This is
Never
intrigue.
easy.
Look
Here
at
we
my hand.
go. We're
It's
way
barely
late.
shaking.
All right, here we go.
It's barely shaking.
Here's the question. You're gonna have to think again. Tell me the best film from the year 2013.
What year is this?
This is 2018. Wait a minute.
Can we cheat?
You got to remember it.
No.
The Descendants.
Verify. That's not what I would have thought of, but Nick,
I'm trying to think. 2013. How is this?
2 years ago.
I know.
Where's the 5 seconds?
Descendants is 2011.
Damn it. 2011?
Yeah.
2013 quickly. If you can name a point, I'll go to another question.
Can I say something?
No. 5 seconds. Nobody can win this.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Iron Man
I believe
3.
that's right. I believe that's right as well.
Stand by. Amazing Spider-Man is 2012.
Damn it.
Iron Man 3 is.
That's 2013.
Iron Man 3 is 2013.
Damn it.
2 seconds.
It's a shitty
I
year.
don't. I
Nick
don't-
pulled
I'm sorry.
it.
No,
Nick
give us
pulled
another
it.
question. Give us another question.
You pulled it.
I'm
I
not
think you
taking-
got
I'm not
it. Dan, do you agree?
I mean, if he didn't come up with an answer, it's kind of an anticlimactic way to end the show, but
I'm sorry.
No. Disqualified.
All right.
Bring it.
I'm, to be fair, you won it, but I'm going to give it. You asked for it.
Yeah.
You're going to keep it going. Here we go.
I'm a man. And so is John.
I want to say thank you.
I might
and
need one
2013
more.
was a
I
bad
might-
movie.
Thank you,
okay.
Nick.
And I want to keep this podcast going forever.
Might need another question. That's the
well,
other problem.
I liked the tiebreaker.
Okay,
question.
let's do that one now.
That's a great question.
Okay, here we
Yeah.
go. I was saving for a tiebreaker, but here we go. I'm giving you a choice of 2. Better first film. I'm sorry. Better first franchise film. Alien or Predator?
Alien.
Predator.
Absolutely.
Predator, Alien.
Oh my God. Alien is
Time on the clock. Go.
Okay, Alien is a noir in space. You get Sigourney Weaver becoming the first female heroine that we've seen in a long time in anything. It was amazing. The Ridley Scott directed it. That destroys anything you're gonna say about that about Predator. And also, it's one of the most it's a horror in space. It's a horror noir in space.
John
It's amazing.
McTiernan defined what action movies are with Predator. He created a superstar
No.
in Arnold Schwarzenegger. He fought like it's still one of the greatest action movies, top 2 ever made, and it's the filmmaking breathtaking. It's better. Like Alien is a small movie. This one,
Okay. 5-second rebuttal just to what he said.
Okay, Die Hard is the best action movie ever
I
made,
said
and
that.
Predator is way down there.
He said top 2. Okay.
Right. Well, McTiernan did a better job than Hunt for Red October.
get out. I take back Iron Man 3. I win.
I'm gonna ask for help on this. I'm gonna play my cards though. I think based on the fight, I think you nicked it a little bit with the best action franchise. I think you did it. So I'm gonna put my vote out first for Predator. I'm gonna ask for help, Dad.
Predator.
Predator. Schnepp.
Yeah, I would have to go with Predator.
It's not even a choice. It was good based on the arguments, but Nick, wow, that was tight. And look at that. With 1 hour prep, you got to 1 point away. Amazing.
I'm not going to win on technicality.
I would say Alien is a better film, but the argument when you said
I just won twice for Shane Black.
It was a better argument.
I just won twice with Shane Black.
I agree. I thought you had it, but his argument was a little stronger.
What I messed up was I should have spawned Aliens.
Fantastic game. That was intense. It was long. Let's wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I want to thank each of my panelists here for doing this. Nick Mundy at Dick Fundy.
Hey, gang. Don't be dicks on the
Yeah, be nice.
I can't wait to see the movie.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Are the title cards coming in for at Dick Fundy on Twitter? It's coming. It's coming. And then, let's talk about your movie, John.
Yeah, the movie's more important.
Yeah,
thanks for coming, John.
You're welcome. I had a great time. This is a really hard thing because you end up fighting against films that you love. Yeah. So I think I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't want to say bad things about that film.
Man.
It is.
So you're at Jon Schnepp on Twitter.
Yeah, on Twitter, just at Jon Schnepp, and you could actually purchase. You could pre-order the film right now if you go to www.tdoslwh. I mean, sorry, it's such a long-winded thing.
It'll be in the description below.
tdoslwh.com. You could pre-order the film right now. The Death of Superman Lives.
Please go follow all these people. Description on YouTube, and the description you can click easily. And you, Mr. Rocha, at the Rocha Says on Twitter, correct?
On Twitter, yeah.
Great job. Thank you for coming last minute.
Thank you.
Did you have fun?
Oh my God, I had a blast. I would love to come back if you want.
You can only get 1 hour prep.
And on the Dan Cam, as always, Mr. Murrell at Murrell Dan. Dan, thanks for doing a great job as always. Did you have fun? It was a good fight.
I did. It was a good fight. At Murrell Dan on Twitter. Go see Inside Out and not Jurassic World 2 for a second time this week.
Yes.
And I have to thank my dad at SR Signore. Great job today. And thanks, Mom. I love you, Mom and Dad. Thanks for coming. This was so fun for me. Please follow me at Andy Signore on Twitter, Instagram, and all that jazz. And tell us what you want to see in the comments below, or tweet at us, or tweet at me what fights you want to see. Follow us on iTunes. Screen Junkies store. He's got a movie fight shirt. We got so much fun stuff. And I want to announce we're going to be at Comic-Con.
Yay!
We're going to be at Comic-Con. We're doing a live movie fights at Comic-Con. I don't think we can tape it. I don't know, but you're going to want to come to Comic-Con the Friday at Comic-Con. Stay tuned for more info. I'm very excited to announce more info soon. But if you aren't going, you better be going, and you better be waiting for our panel because I want to see you all there. Cool. Thank you guys all so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Father's Day. Bye-bye.
Every podcast we put on YouTube comes with this kick-ass graphic listing all the topics your favorite Screen Junkies podcasters are talking about. If you click the topics, you can skip around and choose your own podcast battle royale. Go ahead, try them all. If you haven't already, subscribe to Screen Junkies on YouTube to join us for future fights. Or if you prefer to listen on iTunes, click the logo to download an audio version.